thimerosal, a compound that has and will continue to be injected in millions of newborns and infants. This information is critical if we respond to public concerns regarding the safety of child immunization.
Well, absolutely. You know, what they're doing is that thimerosal was put in as a preservative into vaccines. Now, a lot of them will say that that's no longer in the vaccines. If that's true, it still remains the question, was that a link in some of the health conditions that we saw? And if that's true, how did they ever justify putting mercury into vaccines? I remember 20 years ago, I was trying to use contacts, and there was a cleaning solution that had thimerosal in it. The minute I put it into my eyes, I got this red stinging. My eyes turned blood red. I told the optician I can't use contacts, evidently. And they said, no, I think you're just having a reaction to the thimerosal in the solution. We'll give you one without thimerosal. At that point, I could use it. But I mentioned that just recently to an optician. I guess it was not recently, it was probably about 5 years ago. I was considering using contacts again. And I said, yeah, I quit using them because I was having problems with the cleaning solutions, especially thimerosal. And he goes, oh, no, they banned that. That's mercury. That was the first time at that point that I realized the connection with the thimerosal. Why would they ban it for putting it into a contact lens cleaning solution? Why would they ban it there while they're still allowing it to be injected into people? That's the question. What are they doing to analyze the safety, to inspect the safety of these vaccines and the additives that are put into them? So whether or not they're putting thimerosal in, what about the other additives that are going in? What about the adjuvants? What about the aluminum? So many things that they're putting in, and that really is the issue. Thanks, Indigo. Let's go to Brian in Tennessee. Brandon in Tennessee.
Yes, hello, Dave.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I really appreciate you guys covering this topic about vaccines. You obviously don't hear a lot about it in the media at all. I guess the reason I wanted to call is I've kind of been inspired to kind of call and tell my personal story. In 2009, I ended up getting the swine flu vaccine. You know, at that time, I wasn't aware. I wasn't following you guys. I really didn't know much about anything. I just kind of fell into that fear that the media was promoting about the need to get that vaccine. 2 months later, I was at work, and one of my feet started falling asleep. And I said, well, that's odd, and it wouldn't wake back up. Well, finally, it woke back up. Well, 2 months later, the other one started to fall asleep. And it was kind of off and on like that for a while until finally they both fell asleep. And then they started to burn. And, you know, ended up going to the doctor, the neurologist, and found out that I had what's called peripheral neuropathy, which there was another gentleman, I was listening to Alex maybe last week, had called in, had the same thing. You know, it's very frustrating. There's really no cure for it, and it can be progressive. But anyway, you know, I'll never get another vaccine. I was 28 when I had that vaccine. You know, now I'm 33. And you know, at the time I got this vaccine, I was just getting ready to graduate with my master's degree. And, you know, obviously this has really had a negative impact on on my plans for life, you know. And you know, I just can't warn other people enough to say, hey, you know, that's, you know, you just don't know. Well,
I played excerpts from the 60 Minutes report back in the 70s about the swine flu vaccine at that point in time. And, of course, Wallace, what was his name? It's not Chris Wallace, but his dad, Mike Wallace, with 60 Minutes, talked to the director of the CDC and asked him, he said, how many cases had you guys diagnosed? Well, we didn't really know of any cases of the swine flu. There have been some reported, but none verified. Yet, they went through this massive vaccination program. There were over 4,000 people who claimed that they were damaged from this swine flu vaccination program. It was really the first time they had done a mass panic of the public like that. They had what would in today's dollars be $15 billion worth of lawsuits claiming damage, most of them from Guillain-Barré syndrome. So, you know, you talk about this and how you took the vaccine, you weren't really aware of it, you weren't really thinking about it. I was around when that happened. I remember people talking about the swine flu vaccine, but it never really clicked with me back at that time. Didn't click with me for decades. So it's something that occasionally it will come out, just as 60 Minutes did a report on it 40 years ago when the media companies were not essentially owned by the pharmaceutical companies, with every other ad being a pharmaceutical ad. They did an investigation. They found some horrendous conflicts of interest, as well as lying to the public, panicking the public over this, getting them to take a vaccine that had not been tested, telling them that they had, giving them an insert for them to sign because they were trying at the time to pretend that they had informed consent. Today they say we don't need informed consent at all. They reject the notion of that. But 40 years ago, they wanted to get the informed consent of people. Nevertheless, they gave them information about a different vaccine than they were giving them. So they weren't even giving them the information. Stay with us. We're going to be right back. We're going to go to Ollie in California, Aaron in Texas, Sherry in Missouri. We've got a lot of callers, and we'll be right back.
When an emergency happens, you could be left to fend for yourself and your family. An outbreak of contagious disease can happen anywhere. Because we're faced with more diseases than ever before, we need a better solution than ever before. Fortunately, there is a simple, effective way to protect yourself. Supernatural Silver is a revolutionary silver solution that is clinically shown to be several hundred times more effective than colloidal or ionic silver. And it's powerful enough to help protect you and your family from deadly viruses, bacteria, and fungus. Supernatural Silver is effective against more than 500 different disease-causing pathogens without encouraging drug resistance and without side effects. Supernatural Silver is scientifically supported and is the #1 choice of thousands for improved health and immune system support. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the code SILVER2015 for 30% off. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Give yourself and your loved ones a fighting chance.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
It's no secret that government and big business buy in bulk and get huge discounts not available to the little guy. Until now. Introducing a breakthrough crowd buying website where people can join together, buy in bulk, and get massive discounts on millions of popular products. It's TogetherSave.com. TogetherSave.com. You can save 20, 30, or even 50% off tablets, smartphones, cars, appliances, textbooks, sports equipment, video games, and much more. All with free delivery. Check it out. TogetherSave.com. Visit now and start group buying today at TogetherSave.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight. I want to get right back to your phone calls. We've got Aaron in Texas, I'm told, called the other day. We ran out of time. I'm going to try to get to Aaron, Sharon, Sherry, George, Crystal, Andrew. If I don't get through all of them, we'll go to overdrive. But let's go to Aaron in Texas. Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
Hi, David. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Go ahead.
Great. I was wondering if you're aware of what they do to the doctors that are speaking out about vaccinations. And there's one doctor who spoke out about vaccinations and chemtrails about 10 years ago. And he was targeted by the IRS.
Oh, yeah. They've got a lot of ways to deal with people. I mean, we just had Dr. Andrew Wakefield on last week. Alex was talking to him, and as Alex pointed out, his partner has been vindicated. Of course, Dr. Wakefield, when he was here, said he didn't have $500,000 or pounds, I don't know who was in the UK at the time, to defend himself. But eventually he's being cleared as well, because they've now had a full investigation of his partner, who's been vindicated in the results that they were looking at. So they will come after you in any way that they can. They'll try to destroy your medical license. But, you know, we have to understand that there are bigger issues in this. Everybody who is a whistleblower understands that they're going to be attacked individually as persons. They're going to attack your reputation. They're going to try to attack you financially. That's why we need to hang together, and that's why we need to publicize this and stand with those people. Go ahead.
Yeah, this doctor, he spoke out about chemtrails and vaccinations 10 years ago, and he was targeted by the IRS, and he spent the last 8 years in jail on bogus tax charges. And right now we're trying to help him get out. His name is Dr. Kent Hovind, and his website is freekenthovind.com.
Okay.
We really need people to stand together. He's a strong Christian, and he also talked about the lies of evolution, and the government doesn't like him at all speaking out on these truths, because he asked, where do your rights come from? And that's the most dangerous question that you can ask.
Oh, that's right. And, of course, Chris Cuomo told us that our rights come not from God, but they come from government. Because I guess Chris Cuomo hasn't read the Declaration of Independence, so he doesn't understand the principles that our country is founded upon. Well, thank you so much. That's KentHovind.com. We'll look that up. Let's go to Sherry in Missouri. Sherry?
Good afternoon. I think it's important to speak about the delivery of the vaccination. When it's inserted into the bloodstream through the skin, it does not provoke the immune system as if it's taken in through the mucous membranes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the initial response of the body is through the mucous membranes.
And so then, because it doesn't provoke the immune system, what they do is they add things like aluminum that they call adjuvants to artificially provoke the immune system. But then, of course, that has other effects as well that are not desirable.
Well, right. But what I'm saying is that if you want a safe vaccine or inoculation, that it should go through the mucous membranes, which provokes and incites the immune system to kick in for a response. And that's natural. That's normal.
Absolutely. And, you know, when we're talking about this, to see the panic from people about measles, when I grew up as a child, we didn't have any vaccines for measles. It was a childhood disease. It wasn't a serious thing if you got these childhood diseases as a child. But if you got them later in life, or if you got them as a baby, it was a very serious thing. As we were talking to Dr. Jane Orion about it, she said, yeah, the problem is that there was some immunity that would be passed on from the mothers who had genuine immunity because they had suffered from the disease. That would be passed on to their infants. And people would get it as a child, and they would have lifetime immunity that would protect them as adults. But these vaccines are not effective at protecting people. Stay with us. We're going to be right back. Take the rest of these calls and join us tonight for InfoWars Nightly News at 7 Central. That's on Prison Planet TV.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in. No one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. Just one of the key compounds, BioPQQ, is backed by major clinical studies. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? We now have the synergistic solution. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
The average person's life is filled with unexpected challenges. Unlock the energy it takes to defeat these daily beasts with Super Male or Super Female Vitality, specifically designed to assist the body in regulating proper hormone balance to create superior vitality in males and females. Supercharge and conquer your world at InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.